If you're like most independent artists, you probably have some misconceptions about what it takes to market your music. So I'm going to address those in this video real quick. First one is that you need a label. Most independent artists think that in order to have any type of success, they really need to have a record label. And the fact of the matter is, you do not need a label at all. Okay, so it used to be the case that any artist that wanted to be successful had to have a label because the only way to really have success was following what's called a branding strategy when it comes to marketing. So this old branding model, it still works great, but you have to have millions and millions of dollars to make it work for you. So it's generally ineffective for little guys on a budget. Most independent artists can't follow the same type of strategy that a major record label would use. But the cool thing is that now that's completely unnecessary. You don't have to follow that model to be successful. Modern technology, the internet, this all allows you to reach a more targeted audience for much, much less money. And when I say much less money, I mean a few dollars a day can really go a long way to helping you grow your fan base. And another reason why people used to need a record label was because the production costs of putting together an album were so expensive. You needed to spend $100,000 plus to book this big studio and pay this expensive producer and pay all these engineers and use all this state-of-the-art equipment. Like that used to be what was required to record an album. And then we didn't have digital downloads 20 years ago. Everybody was buying CDs. So there's all of this expense that goes into producing the CDs and getting them distributed everywhere, getting those CDs into stores. So the cost of promoting an artist was really expensive, but also the cost of producing the album and getting it turned into a CD and getting it into stores, that was all super expensive too. And there was no way a small-time musician was going to have a real successful career as a musician making a lot of money without the support of a record label. But the game's changed in a big way, and you absolutely do not need a label to be successful as a musician. The next misconception, and this kind of ties into the last thing we talked about, was that even if you don't have a label, you still need a lot of money to promote yourself. But that's not true at all. You don't need a lot of money to promote yourself. You can easily and effectively promote your music online without a big budget at all. So my goal with this course is to show you exactly how simple it can be to promote your music online and how inexpensive it can be if you know what you're doing. Advertising isn't nearly as expensive as it used to be, especially with things like Google AdSense, YouTube, Facebook ads. You can literally get started for $5 a day and reach thousands of people. Now, that's not to say that all of those people are going to buy your album or sign up for your email list or even click on your ad. I'm just saying for $5 a day, you can have an ad that will be displayed to literally thousands of people. And when I say $5 a day, I don't mean, oh, you have to come up with $5,000 up front and that's distributed out as $5 a day. There's absolutely no commitment to run these type of ads. There's no upfront costs, and they're highly, highly targeted. So if you're a musician and you're serious about having a career as a musician and making money, there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing the stuff that I'm going to teach you in this course. And the other misconception, of course, is that it's just too difficult. But it's not difficult. It just seems that way because you don't know exactly what the process looks like. But in this course, I'm going to show you a simple proven strategy, and I'm going to show you the exact process, how to get started. And like I said in the last video, I will give you more resources at the end of this course that'll help make it even easier for you to get this all started, implemented, and start growing your fan base and selling more music and merch online. And then the last misconception that I want to address is the idea that touring is required. Now, touring is a great part of being a musician for a lot of artists. A lot of artists really enjoy getting up on stage and playing in front of a live crowd. But there are some people that just want to write music and they want to record an album and they don't want to have to go tour to promote it. Well, the cool thing is that, touring really isn't necessary, especially with this strategy that I'm going to show you. Now, historically, it's been one of the best ways for small time and big time musicians to really create awareness about, of their music. And it's still one of the best ways to get exposure. So you should be out there doing it if it's something that you enjoy. But if you don't like to do that and you just want to focus on writing music, that's perfectly cool too. This system still works very well. Touring can be a great source of additional income, but if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. And in fact, there's actually some really cool ways that you can perform for an audience without having to go play live at a club or something. You can perform live on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Or if you don't want to do anything live at all, you don't have to. The strategy will work regardless. You don't have to tour. You don't have to perform live in front of anybody. Just write and record your music. Follow the strategies I'm going to teach you in this course to promote your music, and you can make a great living just from your music without ever having to leave your house. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the next video and we'll start breaking down the actual strategy.